This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1057, 10 Pieces of Unconventional Marriage Advice, Part 1, by Charlene Maugeri of EnduringAllThings.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast that's all about improving the many relationships in your life, one day at a time, 10 minutes at a time. I'm your host and narrator, Greg Audino, and I'm excited to bring you work from another new author today. We'll be reading a post from Charlene Maugeri. It's a long post, actually, so this will be another one of our two-parters in which we will begin the article today and finish the second half in tomorrow's episode. There's a lot to get through, though, so let's jump right into the reading and optimize your life. 10 Pieces of Unconventional Marriage Advice, Part 1, by Charlene Maugeri of EnduringAllThings.com. I've been blogging about marriage since 2013. Over the years, I've learned a lot and shared a lot of marriage advice. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of marriage and relationship advice on the internet. Things like go on regular dates, speak your spouse's love language, and find hobbies to do together. But today, I want to talk about some more unconventional marriage advice. Maybe some of these will make you stop and think. I truly believe people can and should focus on their marriages a lot more than they do. Building a happy marriage is possible and totally worth the effort needed. So, without further ado, let's get into the unconventional advice. 10 Pieces of Unconventional Marriage Advice. Number 1. Go to bed angry. You know the old adage, never go to bed angry, right? I totally get what they're saying. You shouldn't hold a grudge against your spouse. You aren't promised tomorrow. And besides, when you're angry, you won't sleep well. Going to bed angry just isn't good for anyone. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes it's late, and you're tired, and you're irrationally angry and irritable. Some sleep might put you in a better frame of mind. Sleep on it is a popular phrase for a reason. Besides, some issues can't be resolved in a night anyway. You can't just lie awake all night because you refuse to go to bed angry, right? So next time you're mad at each other late at night, try turning off the lights anyway. Make sure your spouse knows you still love them and that you still want to work this out, but that can happen tomorrow. Number 2, find separate hobbies. I feel like a lot of people tell couples to find hobbies to do together, and that is totally important. Recreational intimacy is essential to a happy marriage. But we can sometimes forget to cultivate our own separate hobbies. It's very important for spouses to remain their own person instead of getting completely lost in their relationship. The same goes for motherhood and other parts of life, but that's a post for another time. Sure, you love your partner and you want to enjoy doing things together, but it's important you spend some time apart too. Number 3, take care of yourself. I'm sure by now you know it's important to take care of yourself. It seems like everybody and their mother preaches self-care on the internet these days. But I'm willing to bet you don't see it that often in the context of marriage advice. The truth is, you cannot be a good spouse if you don't take care of yourself. Insert cheesy phrase here, you can't pour from an empty cup, it's not selfish to love yourself, etc. But seriously, take care of yourself. Number 4, prioritize your marriage above your kids. I think this one is very triggering for people. Yes, your children are very important. Yes, they often need your undivided attention and deserve the best of you. But hear me out. Your marriage should come first. A strong and happy marriage is the foundation of your family. Your kids should see their parents loving and respecting each other. They'll see that your marriage means a lot to you and know that's how it should be. Putting your marriage first doesn't mean you neglect your kids. There will certainly be stages in life when your children have to take up more of your time, energy, money, etc. But even in those times, you should not ignore your marriage. Make a point to connect every day. Schedule dates. Check in regularly. Schedule getaways. Do little things for each other. Number 5, don't try to be the perfect wife. Guess what? You're not perfect, and you will never get there. And if your partner is smart, they know and understand that. Some people might tell you that you should still strive for perfection, and that's all well and good. I get their intention, but I don't agree. It's all about giving yourself grace. I used to be a perfectionist, and it showed up in my relationships the most because I'm also a people pleaser. I'm an ISFJ and a Hufflepuff. So, when I would get something wrong in my role as a daughter, sister, friend, or wife, it crushed me. I've spent a lot of my life regretting things I've done or said, and ultimately considering myself a complete failure, when in reality, I was just a normal, flawed human being. Once I let go of the perfect wife expectation, everything changed. And guess what? The image in my head of what a perfect wife looked like wasn't even what Pearson would picture a perfect wife to look like. So why was I holding myself to these silly, impossible standards? To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled 10 Pieces of Unconventional Marriage Advice by Charlene Maugeri of EnduringAllThings.com. And I really like the start Charlene is off to. You love to hear plateau pieces of advice being challenged like she's doing today, because there really is always that gray area. I'm going to share more commentary after tomorrow's part 2, but for now I will leave you with a little more about Charlene. So she lives in Portland, Oregon with her husband Pearson and her dog Pip. Charlene uses her blog, Enduring All Things, to inspire young wives to keep God first and their husbands second in everything they do. It is a place for wives and husbands to find marriage tips, date ideas, and advice based on biblical principles. In a world where we are constantly told that our marriages are bound to fail, Charlene strives to make EnduringAllThings.com a place to find a voice of hope and truth. She believes that it is possible to build a marriage that will endure whatever comes your way, and helping you to do that is her mission. So, hopefully knowing a little bit more about her philosophy will get you even more excited for the rest of this post tomorrow. I know I'm looking forward to sharing it. So until then, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in 24 hours for part 2, where your optimal life awaits.